Hi, I'm Warren Karisu, and today I'll be sharing with you information about Mentor's IoT solution. I'll start by discussing the IoT market, including key trends, drivers, and adoption problems and concerns. I'll then transition into sharing with you in more detail Mentor's IoT solution based on Microsoft Azure, which I hope you'll find very interesting and exciting. Let's start with an overview of the market. As I'm sure is no big news to you, the number of connected devices is showing explosive growth. According to a recent study published by IHS Technology, by 2025, there'll be an estimated 75.4 billion connected devices. That's growing from 14.4 billion in 2015 and an expected 30.7 billion devices by 2020. This data includes devices such as mobile phones and computers, but the real growth in these numbers comes from other devices. Examples of these devices include sensors in manufacturing plants, smart devices in connected vehicles, implantable medical devices, fitness bracelets, drones, toys, sports equipment, clothing, devices for agriculture, vending machines, and the list goes on and on. For perspective, it's interesting to compare the number of connected devices to projections of world population and then calculate how many devices per capita worldwide this translates to. As you can see, in 2015, it's estimated that there were 2.1 connected devices for each and every person on this planet. Even though the world population is projected to grow from 7.3 billion people today to 8.1 billion people by 2025, the number of connected devices balloons to a whopping 9.3 devices for each and every person on the planet. So what's driving such massive adoption of the cloud and the Internet of Things? The bar graph on this slide comes from a study conducted by Morgan Stanley focused on the industrial IoT segment. There's a few themes into which these bars fit. First and foremost, efficiency and productivity are cited as the most critical IoT adoption drivers. Of course, this is because these are basic, yet very critical factors in driving the performance of any business. Another theme includes new business opportunities and selling products as a service. This theme is related to competition, and issues here typically express themselves in terms of time to market and risk. As you go down the list, you'll see that the responses to this survey generally fall into one of these two buckets. As we just saw, there's many drivers for the adoption of an IoT strategy. As you would expect, businesses also have concerns when it comes to embracing the IoT. Here are the results of a recent survey conducted by the IoT Institute. Again, there's a couple of buckets into which these concerns fall. Topping the list of concerns is security, as you can see in the top two bars. I'll loosely call the other bucket as development risk. Development risk includes concerns like lack of available knowledge, which includes not enough knowledgeable people, high cost to implement, inadequate infrastructure and lack of standards, and concerns of workflows and technology maturity. Keep these concerns in mind when I come back around to talk about the solution that Mentor's bringing to the market. Here is some data about vertical market adoption. This graphic is from an EE Times article from September 2016, citing data from a recent IC Insights report. This report shows, by segment, the expected semiconductor sales and growth from 2016 to 2019. There's a couple key takeaways from this slide that I'd like to mention. First, the connected city segment is enormous, and this should be no surprise. There's huge investments here for both business and residential applications. Examples include building automation systems, smart highways, street lighting, and such. For residential, think about your smart electric meters, Nest thermostats, and security cameras. The second key takeaway is that the expected compound annual growth rate for the industrial IoT segment is second only to connected vehicles, but only by a small margin. However, the industrial segment is more than 4 times larger than the connected vehicle segment. Clearly, the industrial segment, which also includes connected medical devices, is a rapidly growing segment for IoT. Here's one final data point on the IoT market, and it pertains to cloud market share. As you can see from the graphic taken from a recent Forbes study, Amazon Web Services has a commanding market share. This can be largely attributed to the focus that Amazon has on retail or consumer segment through their web hosting and related cloud services. However, Note that Microsoft has nearly double the growth rate of Amazon and is growing at 100% per year. So why is Microsoft growing at such an astounding rate? For decades, Microsoft has provided the IT backbone for many companies. Microsoft is now leveraging their position in corporate IT to extend the value into the cloud. It's also noteworthy that in late January 2017, Microsoft's market cap has once again reached 500 billion US dollars, which was last seen 17 years ago. This growth has been credited to Microsoft repositioning itself as a cloud solutions company. Let's transition now and discuss Mentor's IoT solution. Here's a high-level overview of Mentor's IoT solution. The solution is broken into two halves, the cloud side and the embedded side. In its most generic form, on the cloud side, the cloud vendors provide a varying breadth and depth of infrastructure, platforms, and applications. On the embedded side, Mentor provides commercial-grade platforms which can connect to the services on the cloud side. As you'll see in upcoming slides, our approach with Microsoft Azure enables integration between the embedded side and cloud side services and creates an IoT solution where Mentor adds even more value to both sides. First, let me show you the very rich solution that is made available by Microsoft Azure Cloud Services. Of course, I won't go into details here. I'll just summarize by saying that Microsoft Azure customers get everything in this diagram, which includes infrastructure services and a breadth of platform services, including analytics and IoT enablement. So what's Mentor providing then? The dark blue portions of this diagram show the rich and broad portfolio solution that Mentor offers to device manufacturers today. This includes the Nucleus real-time operating system that's found in over 3 billion devices today, the Yocto project-based Mentor embedded Linux, a small Type 1 hypervisor for virtualization and separation, and a powerful multi-core framework that allows developers to build complex heterogeneous OS systems on the latest heterogeneous system-on-chip silicon architectures. These core components are further enhanced with safety certification, security, rich middleware, and development tools. With Azure, we are now deepening our already rich portfolio with integration with the Microsoft Azure SDK technologies and complementing this integration with device-to-cloud services, which I'll discuss in an upcoming slide. This rich enhanced platform enables customers to build devices ranging from tiny battery-sipping microcontrollers all the way up to powerful fog computing platforms. By integrating and testing the Azure technologies with Mentor's commercial platforms, we're enabling device manufacturers a shorter path to Azure cloud integration, while at the same time wringing out the risks that come with learning, integration, and testing of this solution. To provide a real-world context to this platform enablement, I'll overlay the Mentor platform solutions on an industrial automation example. On the left, actuators and sensors are the electronic workhorses of the factory. These tend to be small, resource-constrained devices and are a perfect target for the Nucleus RTOS. In order for these sensors to participate in a factory cloud strategy, they need to be connected securely. In the case of an Azure cloud, these devices can leverage the Azure Device SDK. Next to the left are the automation controllers. The automation controllers do exactly that. They control devices such as manufacturing equipment. They leverage the sensors and actuators to control production of widgets. They must also communicate with the factory operations to ensure that the machinery is doing what it should be doing. An automation controller might be more complex as compared to a comparatively simpler sensor or actuator, and it could require an RTOS like Nucleus, Linux, or some other combination of both OSs on a multi-core processor. As with the sensors and actuators, for the controllers to participate in a factory cloud, they need to be connected and can leverage the Azure SDK. In this diagram, the gateway sits in the factory network between the automation controllers, sensors, and actuators, and the cloud. In the gateway, Linux is more likely the OS, but some gateways might require the services of an RTOS. And as a controller, the gateway might be a complex multi-core device leveraging multiple OS environments. The gateway would be Azure-enabled via an integration with the Azure Gateway SDK. If you recall from the previous slide, the Mentor solution also includes Android enablement. Mentor has enabled many customers with Android-based devices, and to the far right, you can see where Mentor's Android solution can support the mobile aspects of a cloud architecture. Finally, in the block labeled Enterprise Cloud, This is where the Azure cloud sits. With the Azure-enabled sensors, actuators, controllers, and gateways built with Mentor's broad runtime technologies, all the necessary components are in place to allow businesses to leverage the full capabilities brought to them by the Azure cloud. Here is what Mentor's Azure solution looks like from the embedded edge device view. As I've previously described, Mentor has integrated the Microsoft Azure Device SDK with both the Nucleus RTOS and Mentor Embedded Linux. This solution enables the integration of devices to the Microsoft Azure cloud and supports a broad set of devices and choices of topology. From a feature perspective, the Azure Device SDK is a relatively lightweight set of libraries that enables the features that you see in the box at the lower right of the slide. These features provide the basic capabilities a business would need in order to communicate with, discover, provision, and manage a device connected to the Azure cloud. In addition to this enablement, we can augment the solution with device-to-cloud services, which I'll describe in an upcoming slide. Here's what the Azure Gateway SDK integration provides. With this integration, a company can build a device with a wide topology and paradigm of choices for proximity networks. This type of device would typically be more powerful than an edge node, such as a sensor or actuator, and can therefore be used in more of a fog processing context. From a feature perspective, the Azure Gateway SDK is a much richer set of components that extends the Azure Device SDK with additional features required by a gateway. These include capabilities to aggregate, filter, and store data, map devices and translate protocols, and to provide a message broker service that enables gateway modules to communicate with each other and with the Azure IoT Hub. Device-to-cloud services are one of the distinguishing and differentiating capabilities we offer to our customers. As businesses build out their cloud infrastructures, they will leverage the data from their systems for use in business intelligence and advanced analytics for things like predictive and prescriptive maintenance and machine learning. Mentor's core competence is derived from more than 20 years in the embedded business, and that includes expertise around embedded operating systems, development and debugging tools, and customization services. Mentor's core competence can benefit the customer by enabling the capture and use of deeply embedded device information to the cloud. Examples of this information include monitoring, alarms and events related to device performance, memory consumption, CPU loading, power consumption, and remote debugging. For example, consider a memory leak that was introduced from a programming error. A memory leak is a defect where tasks do not fully return memory to the system when the task completes. Over time, the available memory will degrade to the point where the system will crash. Another example is CPU overhead. Consider a case where too many applications are running simultaneously and consuming the CPU to the point where the system becomes sluggish or completely non-operational. This type of information can complement other application information sent to the cloud and can be used for advanced analytics, which could result in improved operational performance and reduction of downtime, which would result in a more effective, efficient, and higher quality system. Throughout this presentation, I've mentioned security on multiple occasions. Security is a very broad and deep topic that spans the entire system from the tiniest edge device all the way up through the cloud. Given the complexity of this topic, I'll not attempt to go into such depth here. What I will say is that Mentor's embedded platform solution provides comprehensive security. The solution secures data at rest, or data that is stored on the device, data in use, that is, data that is being executed, and data in motion, or data that's moving between points in the system. The solution includes the establishment of a hardware root of trust where the system is secure from power on, validating and authenticating every bit that is loaded onto the system from the bootloader to the operating systems, middleware, and applications. Mentor's platforms include both the Nucleus RTOS and Mentor Embedded Linux, which have achieved GE's Achilles Level 2 certification for network security. All of our runtime platforms are rich in encryption technologies, and we also support the ARM Trust Zone security feature found in many ARM-based processors. Mentor has a team of security experts that monitor the common vulnerability in US CERT databases for known security defects. Finally, our portfolio is complemented with partners including the Floodgate security solutions from Icon Labs. In summary, Mentor's IoT platform with Microsoft Azure integration, complemented with device-to-cloud services, provides the following features and benefits. The platform solution enables the creation of highly scalable, cloud-connected devices from the smallest edge devices to very rich and powerful gateways. The pre-integrated and tested solution provides out-of-the-box connectivity from the device to the Azure IoT Hub, which unlocks the availability and breadth of Azure cloud services. The device-to-cloud services enable access to deeply embedded information from the embedded device, which can then be leveraged in the cloud for business intelligence and advanced analytics. Finally, Mentor's comprehensive system security solution secures data at rest, data in use, and data in motion. The customer benefits to this solution are comprehensive. Remember earlier when I spoke about concerns with adopting IoT technologies? The benefits of the solution address those concerns head-on. The solution is application-ready, which reduces the need for knowledgeable and experienced engineers and allows teams to ramp quickly to productivity on the cloud. Because it's pre-integrated with Azure, the solution also addresses overall risk and speeds time to integration and therefore time to market. By leveraging deeply embedded data for use in cloud analytics and business intelligence, businesses can build out more competitive and differentiated offers in their respective markets. The security of the platform enables data privacy, which, as you might recall, was one of the main concerns, and minimizes downtime while improving overall operational efficiency. And because the integration is tested and supported commercially, it reduces overall development and post-deployment risks. In closing, I'd like to get one final point across, and that point is that Mentor Embedded has moved well beyond providing point solutions for an embedded device to becoming an IoT systems integrator. The foundation for our position is our 20-plus years in the embedded industry and our market-leading platform solutions. To extend those solutions, we're offering pre-integration with the Microsoft Azure Cloud and customization solutions, which can tie together fully our deeply embedded heritage with the needs of cloud-based business intelligence and analytics solutions. By providing the breadth of this solution, businesses are now able to build systems of devices that are connected to each other, to gateways, and to the cloud, complemented with rich data that will enable the businesses of the future.